British Prime Minister Theresa May says she will resign on the 7th of June as head of her Conservative Party. Her announcement today ends weeks of speculation.
Mrs. May says she regrets not delivering Brexit and hopes that her successor will find a way forward.
Ever since I first stepped through the door behind me as Prime Minister, I have striven to make the United Kingdom a country that works not just for a privileged few, but for everyone, and to honour the result of the EU referendum. Back in 2016, we gave the British people a choice. Against all predictions, the British people voted to leave the European Union. I feel as certain today as I did 3 years ago that in a democracy, if you give people a choice, you have a duty to implement what they decide. I have done my best to do that.
Mrs. May previously promised to resign once Parliament passes some kind of Brexit deal. But lawmakers have trashed her deal 3 times already. It's left Britain deeply divided and its Parliament paralysed for months.
But she wants lawmakers to vote on it yet again in early June. Now, this vote has been postponed. It will take a few weeks for the Tories to elect a successor.
Opinion polls have tipped Boris Johnson as the favourite for Prime Minister when Mrs. May finally goes. He's known to favour a quick and sharp Brexit.
Now, for the latest, let's join our correspondent, Ollie Barrett, and he's in London right now. Ollie, what's next for Mrs. May, and for Brexit?
Well, for Theresa May, she will have a period as effectively caretaker Prime Minister in Downing Street. She will, as you say, resign from the leadership of the Conservative Party on June the 7th. That kicks off the Conservative Party leadership process. But until they have a new leader to replace her, she will remain at Downing Street as Prime Minister over that period. In terms of Brexit, it's really on hold now. Of course, it's been delayed already until the end of October. There's been some speculation that perhaps some bits of Theresa May's withdrawal agreement bill legislation could still make their way through the House of Commons in the coming weeks, the uncontroversial bits that everyone agrees on. But effectively, Brexit is on hold now until there is a new leader of the Conservative Party and a new Prime Minister who can take it forward.
Well, speaking of the new Prime Minister, who are the likely candidates then, apart from Boris Johnson?
Well, there are a number of other runners and riders. Many of them have effectively declared before Theresa May even announced she was resigning. That was how inevitable her departure was. Dominic Raab, the former Brexit secretary, he is certainly a front runner. He's a hardline Brexit voice in the party and therefore popular with the party membership and the Brexit wing of the party. Sajid Javid, the current Home Secretary, maybe he stands a decent chance. He would be a more soft voice in terms of Brexit, not as hardline as a figure like Dominic Raab. We could see Jeremy Hunt, the current Foreign Secretary, put his hat into the ring. There are going to be a lot of candidates other than Boris Johnson, but at this point, Boris Johnson, according to the bookmakers, and certainly with the party membership, is the front runner.
Ollie, markets seem to have reacted coolly to the news. Is this the worst, is the worst over, or is it yet to come?
Well, I think in many ways it's as you were, because we all knew that Theresa May was going to find it difficult to hang on as Prime Minister, and so the markets had effectively priced in the fact that at some point she would have to go and that there would have to be this leadership race. We will of course see over the coming weeks the kinds of figures who rise to the top of the rankings when it comes to who might take over as Conservative leader and how the markets react to that. But certainly investors are looking on, and they are imagining that they may well be looking at a Prime Minister Boris Johnson in the not too distant future, a Prime Minister who may be inclined to take Britain out of the European Union with no deal if he can't reach a better deal than Theresa May was able to.
All right, thanks for that. Ollie Barrett speaking to us from London.